for the Sony ZV-1. Now this camera has been out for a while. In fact, there is a new version of this camera that has come out, which is the Sony ZV-1F, which is interesting as a camera because some of the things that people did not like about this camera were fixed with that, and then it left some things to also be desired. We can get into that. But if you've never seen this one, this is the Sony ZV-1 camera. Now it looks a little different because I have some accessories on there, and the video today is talking about some of my favorites. So I want to go over that with you. So this camera by itself has a 24-70 lens on it. So you do get some zoom, unlike the Sony ZV-1, which is a fixed focal length of it is, what is it? It is a 20 millimeter, and I believe it's an f2.0. And this one is going to be a variable, and it can go like 1.8 to 2.8, something like that, right? And the nice thing is, though, that this one zooms. It has the in-body stabilization, and it has the ND filter built in. Whereas the Sony ZV-1F is a lower price, usually coming in around $4.99, although right now it's currently on sale on Amazon for like $3.99. But this one has usually hung out around the $650 mark, and I think when it first came out, it was around $700 or $750. So this one's currently on sale right now for about $650. You can get them used usually on like Facebook Marketplace or other places, and so that's where I actually got mine, was a used one. Happy New Year absolutely to you as well. So the reason I'm doing this video though is because someone had asked me for it, and I was like, you know what, I will get that done, and I'm trying not to be a liar, and I'm gonna have it done before the end of the year, which is today. So that's why we're gonna talk about this one. I just realized there's not a boot up there. Oh no, there's the big hole above my head, above this, with no boot. We can't have that. One second. Ugh, we can't have this. I just saw that now in the reflection. That's going to bug me so much. Okay, so let's talk about some of my favorite accessories for this. One of which you can already see on here. This is the L bracket, and this is from Small Rig. And by the way, if you care, all of these accessories I'll be talking about are linked in the description. They're affiliate links too, so if you do click on one and you make a purchase, I could make a commission on it. So if you do, that's totally cool, and thank you so much. If you don't want to, you can Google the name, because I have the name of it too, and you can always do that. Now, one of the things that's really annoying with this, when you try to put it onto a tripod, is that the 3.5 millimeter like jack for it to go onto a tripod was actually always in the way of where the battery compartment was. So you couldn't actually change out the battery, or therefore change out the memory card inside, without taking the entire thing off of a tripod, which was really, really annoying. So I got this. First of all, it's the wooden handle, which is nice, which actually pumps out a little bit farther, so you have more of a grip to hold onto, which was nice. But it also then has these screws here so that you can relocate basically where you would plug into a tripod, so you can screw into any of these, which is nice. Plus, it has this versatility. You can then do it this way, so if you wanted to do a vertical mounting on your tripod, you could also do so, and then the lens would flip up. This way, you'd still be able to see it and have it articulate around. So this was a really cool find, and it was maybe like $15, maybe $20 for the handle. And just for the annoyance clearing factor up, being able to change out the memory card and battery, because one of the things with this, if you're out in the field shooting, it doesn't have a super long battery life. And so one of the accessories that I did pick up and I recommend is this guy. And this is the battery charger. It comes, I believe, with just the micro USB cable, if I remember correctly, but on the adapter here, you can actually charge via micro USB or USB-C, which is great since most of my electronics are now kind of transitioning over to USB-C. I love this. This you can charge 3 separate batteries at the same time. So that's really, really great. So I always have, if I were to go out, fresh batteries that I can exchange out. So you can just slide the 3 batteries in there like that, which is really great. So that will get you through an entire day of shooting. And if you have a battery pack with you, like I tend to have, you could also be charging on the go and continually cycling through batteries, which is really awesome. They even come with these little protective covers for your batteries individually. So if you toss these into like a little mesh pocket, then you're totally good to go for when you're on the go charging. So sometimes I just leave this on my desk and I charge. Otherwise, if I'm going to be doing a live stream like I am here, then the other thing that I get is a dummy battery. Now, this one was recommended to me from Diana Gladney, and so I just trusted her recommendation, and I picked this one up. So this one is basically a DC power like replacement battery like this, so it will trick your camera into thinking that you have battery all the time. So it doesn't come with the other end, which is going to... My dog is so wanting you to know that he's here. Buddy, come on in. So you will need, because this has the USB-A connection on the other side, you'll need to have a plug adapter to put this into, but then you'll have continuous juice for your battery, which is great because I use this camera now for live streaming. Yes, thank you for announcing that you're here. Everyone will be so excited to see you when you come in. So this is the dummy battery that I currently use. Technically right now I use, it says that it needs, at least 5 watts of power, but I got a little paranoid and I actually use a little 10-watt brick, an old Apple one I have laying around. It hasn't caused any issues yet, and I've been using it for quite a while, so there's that for when I'm live streaming at home. But if I am live streaming at home as well, even though you can go directly via USB, I don't do that because when you go USB out of your camera directly, then usually the resolution that you're able to have is topped out at 720. And so for myself, I usually will want to go higher than that. So I end up getting one of these, which is from Elgato, and this is the Cam Link. And so this will plug in via USB on your computer, and then it has the HDMI port back here, so that what you can do is then have a micro HDMI to HDMI regular end on this guy. So it comes out of the port on the side here on your camera, and then the other end of the cable goes into this. And then when you use this as your capture card, you're able to have higher resolution video coming from your nicer camera. So that's why I did that. So highly recommend having a cam link. I actually have 2, just in case, and in case I have 2 camera sources or anything like that. So the other thing that I was going to recommend, if you have been out, just as I'm petting this little guy here is like a wind muff. They call it a dead cat. It's not my name. I'm sorry. Okay, that's just the name that they have. But this little guy is a replacement one from what they have, because what they will give you is this one little wind muff that ends up covering this, and then you don't have this cold shoe adapter over here anymore. But this still could come in handy if you have things like external lights, external microphones, other things that you want to hook up here. And so I got this little small rig adapter. I think this one is very, very inexpensive, like maybe $10. And it slides in here. It's a cold shoe adapter that will give you a mic mount cover, so this fuzzy windscreen, as well as the ability to still keep your little cold shoe mount here. So I actually appreciate that. And the other one was a little too wild and fuzzy, if that makes any sense. And I felt like it covered more of the stuff and the buttons, and it, like I said, it made it so you didn't have this ability to have this cold shoe mount anymore. So I decided I'd rather keep this one on. So there's that. You got the same cage? Awesome! The small rig one? Yeah, it's so great, right? Because the biggest annoyance that I had was being like having to change out for the battery, like having to take the whole thing off the tripod just to change the battery or the memory card. So yeah, I don't know who it was. I think it was Rich. Rich had asked me, or Marcus, what were my top accessories for the Sony ZV-1. So I was like, yeah, I'll make your video. And I was like, oh, if I have to make that video before the end of the year, that just means today. I have to make it today. How are you? Big plans for New Year's? But yeah, see, so if anyone else is watching this back, Latrell has also bought the small rig cage, and there you go, would recommend. Now, the other thing that people did seem to have some complaints about with this camera is that it wasn't wide enough for if you were doing vlogging, which is funny because this was meant to be like the best vlogging camera, right? So now if you get the Sony ZV-1F, it has the lens, it is an 18 millimeter, which is quite wide because the lower the number, then the wider, more things are in frame. This one's a 24, but it will crop in quite a bit. If you have stuff like active stabilization on, then it comes in quite quite a bit. So some people were saying that this was not wide enough. So there are some different solutions out there. I know one, they have a thing, it's like it acts like a sticker and it like pops onto the front. I looked at that one, but I didn't like it as much. So I decided to go with this one, which is the, I never know how to say it, newer, whatever it is. And so I leave this on, and then the other half of it, because this is the part that you just like put in with like a little Allen wrench. And then if you leave it off, you can still use the camera as is, as intended. But the adapter will make it so that when you put this guy on, and it has a little red dot here so you know how to put this on. It's always like pressure to do it though when people are watching. Oh no. Oh no. Okay, wait, I can do this. I should have started with it on. It's all under time wrap now. So basically, this is why I keep also this thing on, because it's too much pressure. Okay, so you put this guy on and you twist it, and then it looks more like a kind of like a regular shooter. The only reason I don't like to keep it on all the time is because if you're carrying it around, I don't know if you hear that, but it's got this little bit of that sound, which is really annoying, and that's because this part of the lens, it does like move, and so if you're just like walking around with this in your pocket, it is gonna like cause some sound. But the nice thing is, if you have this guy on and you take off your little lens cap, this actually turns it into an 18, and so the 18 is actually then a little bit wider even than the Sony ZV-1F is going to be, which is the 20. But the nice thing about that is that you don't have to add anything to it, really. It just is that. But I still like this one better because of like the fact that it has the ND filter built in, and it has like better stabilization. Although the ZV-1F has apparently the newer, better imaging processor for color, as well as the maybe a better touchscreen menu. I don't know, because I haven't played with that one yet. Although I've thought about getting one as like a live streaming like secondary. I don't know though. I don't know if I should do that. So the cage helps a lot with the grip, and I got a 52 millimeter adapter and UV protector. Yeah, that's nice. So this guy right here, it does have threads. It is a, I don't know if it says the size. It might be like 58 or 62. Sometimes it tells you around there somewhere. But this one is not only a wide angle lens, but it's technically a macro lens too. I forget what you're supposed to do. You unscrew this front part of the lens like this. You got to hold on to this piece so you can unscrew this. And then if you use this one, this is the macro lens. So this is nice because then all of a sudden your camera can do all of these macro shots. It can do, like I said, the super wide angle. Oh, look, the wide angle. And then as you're, does it say on this what size it is? No, of course not. But as you're doing this, then you have some versatility. So you could carry this little lens adapter even in your camera bag. The only thing is I haven't found the perfect lens cover on the back side, because you want to make sure it's protected. But you know, you could carry this, or you could just carry this whole unit like this. It doesn't add that much weight, but it's kind of nice then to have all of those options. You can have macro, you can have wide angle, you can do the regular 24 to 70, and you can have all those options. But the only thing, like I said, is annoying is you hear that like rattle. Yeah, so it has threads, so you could do that too. So I do like this as a set, and if I were to go out, this is kind of like the setup that I would use. So I've got my little wind muff here, although I don't usually like the sound that comes just off. It's like, it's okay in a pinch, but it's not my first choice. So I've got a couple of choices here that I'm going to show you. And a couple things. One, if you're looking for just a mounted mic that sounds decent and isn't too expensive, you could do something like this, which is the Deity V mic, forget which one it's called. It's not the V-Mic Pro, it's just maybe the V-Mic, something like that. So it's got a little cold shoe adapter, screws right down, has one little TRS cable that comes out here. It's nice and small and compact. And the nice thing is it comes with this little Rycote kind of like shock mount. So this is the mic itself. So it looks kind of similar to like you see like those Rode video mics and stuff like that. I like this one. And I think this sound is really, really good. In fact, I have a short, I'm pretty sure, testing this with the sound with a Sony ZV-1. And so if you wanted to check that out, you totally could. But you could do this, and then you slide it right into this little guy here. And you can see it doesn't, here, I gotta scooch it down. If you weren't using this little windmill guy. See, it doesn't add that much extra big like space and sound. And then you have a long enough cable that you can just plug this in over here and you're good to go on something like this. They also have a version of this mic that has a mic in the back too. So if you want to talk in the back, like because you're vlogging and then you turn around, you have a mic going both directions, which is really, really cool. So I think, I don't know specifically what my mic level is on. Right now I'm on my phone so I can show you my camera, and so that's why, so I'm using a different Shure mic. It's the MV88 Plus, just plugged into the bottom of my phone. But for this one, I do change it whether I'm doing internal audio only or whether or not I have an external mic on. So sometimes it's usually hanging out somewhere in the middle or somewhere like 16-ish, something like that, I think it is. So that's an option. The other option that I really do like is going to be the DJI mic. So more expensive, but more versatile in a lot of different ways because you can do something like this, and I'll show it to you, but a couple of the accessories that I do want to show you as well that go with it, and some come with and some I bought extra. Oh, by the way, I do usually carry one of these around, which is a a phone little tripod holder. So if I was to do like a little live or, you know, something with my phone, I can actually just like set it up on here and it folds down like pretty small. So I almost always have one of these in my bag anyway, just in case, because it's like $6. I didn't link that below, but you can see it's by New Laxi. I think you can find, but they have tons of them. So one of the things that just came out, there's an old version and now there's a new version. The old version, these are meant for the Insta360 pendant, like little action cams. And so this one is like this small little pendant that looks like this. It looks like it's this necklace plate so you can stick the camera to it. But because it's a little magnetic plate, I love this for the microphone because the microphone has a magnetic back on it too. So you can just clip it on there. And then this will make it so that your clothes don't get messed up and it's not like hanging by the weight of it. And it makes it really easy if you don't have pockets, if you can't like hook it onto anything. This is so good, and you just have one of these on. You can do it under your shirt or over your shirt, whatever. I've done this with, I'm teaching dance and I put it around my neck. Really, really great. So I have this and I always pack one up in my bag. But they just came out with a brand new version of this little necklace pendant for the Insta360. I guess it would be the Go 2 instead of the Go 3 or whatever it is. So this is the original and this is the new version. So the new version is a tiny bit thicker. I don't know if you can see this, but the plate is a tiny bit thicker. But the magnet is like twice as strong. So I actually really, really like this one. And so I love carrying this around, and they also have this detachable rubber piece on the back that you can stick on. It just goes magnetically. So if you were to have a camera, it would just give you a little bit of angle so that your camera would be angled at a certain way, which is really cool, but also it works the same for the mic, or you don't have to use it at all. They pack up smaller on this one too because it has this like rubberized edge that you can kind of fit the cable into, kind of like a yo-yo does. So that's really cool. And then, like I said, the magnet is stronger. So when you stick this guy on there, like, I don't know if you're, it's so much stronger. This one does not shake off. This one, occasionally, if I was dancing, something would like kind of fly off. This one, nothing moves. So that's really good if you want to wear it. But if you want to hold on to it, kind of like a handheld mic, this is really, really cool. So a person that I follow on Twitter and a person that I know, no affiliation though, so the link will just take you to his Etsy shop. But he 3D prints these handles. They have them in different lengths, and you can even get the kind that have the little apron around it if you want to put branded stickers on it. I'm not going to be at CES, not that I know of. I would love to go one day though. If you see the top here, it's 3D printed to the exact measurements and dimensions of the mic. So when you use this, all you have to do is stick the little handle down in there. It fits perfectly. And so because you like unclip it to get it all the way down, there's no like, it doesn't fall out, right? So you could just have it like this, but he has these little wind muffs like this, because I've used the Rode one before, but one, I don't like all the branding that it has all over it. And so this is so great, right? This little handle is about $15, and I think it looks pretty cool with like the little honeycomb design here. So there's that, and it just looks like that. I think it's so neat looking, and it's such a good idea. He did a good job with this. So I highly recommend if you're looking at something like this. They also have, since I've shown a couple of things that are small rig has this, which is a mic handle. It's not specifically for this. They advertise it a lot for the Rode, but you can kind of like stick this in there. It's not perfect, but one nice thing that this has going for it, you can mount it this way or this way. So you could screw this down on a little tripod, like if you had a little Manfrotto Pixie, and then have it, the mouth coming at you this way. And you do have the option of like extending the handle a little bit. It's quite a bit of work though. And I think between this and this, I would much rather use this. I think this one looks a little bit nicer, and I like that it has the little foam cover I just put on top. But I think that's so cool, right? But this one does pack up nice and small into your backpack, which is nice. I mean, and it has the little screw mount at the bottom, so if you did want to put this on top of a tripod and then mount this on top, you do have the option to do that. So, all right. We talked about the little necklace. We talked about, you know what though, what else about the DJI mic? You can use this on your computer. In fact, I just put out a video on how to hook it up to your computer because I had a friend who wasn't able to get it hooked up correctly. Well, she hooked it up. She just forgot one thing that was needed, and so it wasn't working for her. So we were able to troubleshoot that. So you can use this with your computer. You can use this with, you know, your iPhone or iPad. You can use it with Android phones. So it has all the different ways to connect it. Or you can use it with nothing and just record like a voice memo and then sync everything back later or have it as like a backup. So I really, really like this. And like I said, definitely for accessories for the DJI mic, recommend the little guy like this, and definitely recommend the new version of the nameplates, like the little, what do you call them? Insta360 pendant necklace magnet guy like this. So recommend those. And then if you're looking for a more economical choice, like I said, oh, here's the little dead cat that comes for the Deity mic, which looks like this little guy. Plus the black and yellow is like super fun and festive, right? So this little guy sticks right in there and it goes like that, which is definitely helpful if you are out there doing audio and you have like wind and this stuff going on. So this is a really good option. And let's see, what else? We talked about the cam link. Good shake, Betty. We talked about the little phone holder. Talked about all the accessories for the mic. Oh, and by the way, you do get little wind muffs for the mics on the DJI too, if you ever want to use those out in nature. I didn't use a specific micro HDMI to HDMI cable because I figure those, they are what they are, right? And this is supposed to be my favorite stuff. You can use any of those. This is my little favorite dummy battery. This is my favorite battery charger. My dog is coughing up a storm over there. And let's see, do you guys have any questions? Do you have any like awesome plans for New Year's? Are you going to CES? That would be cool. Okay, yes. And we talked about the wide angle lens adapter. We talked about the cold shoe relocator, and we talked about the small rig cage. Those were all of the accessories that I really wanted to talk about. So I really hope that that was helpful for people. Yeah, you're gonna fly in on the 6th. That's awesome. Do you have any like big events or like creator things that you're going to? I know Zach is going, right? So maybe you'll run into Zach there. Should have a good time. I think it would be really fun. I don't do a ton of tech reviews, really, but to sometimes just go see all the cool stuff that's coming, although it really does induce my fear of like, not FOMO, but like Gus, you know? You have a meeting with Sony? Oh, tell them I love them, and, you know, they should hit a girl up for if they want some videos made for Amazon. At least I put videos on Amazon. Maybe they could then understand that I do make some tech videos. But that's awesome. I hope you have a good time. Sony makes some really cool products. I really like their stuff a lot. And I'm really excited. If I had the money, I would totally get the Sony ZV-1. That would be really cool. But like I said, I am curious about the Sony ZV-1F, if it would be a really good, like, just talking head camera for all of my videos, and then I could use this guy out in the field for all the different options, you know? So, congrats on the medium. Oh, look at that. Very so nice. See? Yeah. Yeah. The ZV-1 is such a good camera. The only thing that I really wish that they had done on this one, that they had done, is 20mm on this one. To save people from having to get the wide angle adapter. I wish they'd done USB-C, and I wish they had the new menus. That was really all I needed. Because even in the ZV-1 Mark II, they didn't make, they made upgrades in weird areas, I feel like, right? Like, yeah, you got USB-C, but then like they didn't update some stuff, and it was just kind of like, what? Make it make sense. So I didn't find that it was worth upgrading from the ZV-1 to the ZV-1 Mark II for the price, because that thing was like $800, and I was like, I get it, but like at that point, like, it was still a head scratcher to me, right? So I was like, maybe I'll just stick with what I have and then buy a used one. Sony people are good people. We don't even know, but the guy I talked to only lives maybe a half. Oh, that's so cool. We've met up for lunch a couple times already. That's awesome. Oh my gosh. That's really awesome. Yeah. Not that. Yeah, I don't think it's worth the upgrade. I not until they do some little changes, right? There just wasn't enough of an upgrade, I felt like. I think they took out the ND filter, right? And then they didn't really fix the IBIS either. So I was kind of like, I don't know what you're paying all that money for except for USB-C. Although, did I upgrade my iPhone just so I could be on USB-C? Yeah, I did. Yeah, the E10 is nice too. I'm kind of thinking though, like, I'm not really that, as she says with her like lens on it, I'm not that big into changeable lenses anymore, just because I know it's so much more product that I don't want to carry and I don't want to mess with. So that makes, just because I went to Iceland, right? I was going to take my Sony a7 III, and I did. And then I had some people talk to me about, oh, you would really feel bad if you just took a point and shoot, or if you only had your phone, like take all these, you know. So I took the Sony a7 III, and I took the, I actually bought an old lens off of Roberto Blake. I bought the 16 to 35 or whatever it was, and then I brought the 24 to 70, or, you know, whatever. I bought one lens off him. I had one lens, so I had it, but then I also had a herniated disc. I never got off the boat. I was carrying around this heavy, heavy camera in a Peter McKinnon backpack. My poor mother couldn't help me, yeah, like, with it. And so I was just kind of turned off by, like, oh my gosh, like, I'll just use my cell phone, or, you know, I'll just use something like a little point and shoot like this that maybe has some zoom, because I can't bring myself to go on another trip, carry all that equipment again. And I never even, like, I carried like a tripod with me, and at one point I was using it because I took one of the legs off and I was using it like a walking stick, because I was so, like, hobbling around. I was so broken at that point. It was before I had surgery. And I was so turned off by the entire experience of lugging around all of my camera gear and equipment that I was like, I'm not doing that again. I mean, gosh, I need a whole do-over on the Iceland trip, and I would love to. And I know people have gone, like Terry Warfield went and took all these amazing like drone footage, and I'm like, I would love to be able to do that, but like now I know if I'm gonna go shoot something, it has to be pretty lightweight, and like I'm probably not gonna be changing out multiple lenses during the trip. I don't think I can do it. I don't think I can. So it's not worth it, but I upgraded anyway to the 2. Did you? Wow, that's awesome though. Like my poor dog is starting to bark now, but let me see. ZV-1 versus. I'm trying to remember all the differences, and it was because they're both still the same sensor, right? They're both a 1-inch sensor. The ZV-1 still has the built-in ND filter. The ZV-1 Mark II has slightly wider lens, right? Mediocre battery life, no weather. Yeah. I know this Sony ZV-1F doesn't even shoot RAW, right? And it's not like the ZV-1 Mark II was that much stronger. Okay, so a little bit faster shutter speed. And I mean, because they run on the same battery, right? And then slightly more max brightness and on the screen, because the size is the same. Yeah, the newer file menu system. But the same for 88 photos. So slightly faster if you're doing a whole bunch of on the buffer size for taking JPEGs. Yeah, I just honestly, like, as much as I would say that it would be great to upgrade, I can't find myself having like $200 worth of reasons to upgrade from one to the other, right? Yeah. So I never, like I said, I always use the dummy battery, and then I go micro HDMI to the cam link capture card when I'm live streaming. So I use, yeah, the little dummy battery, and I never worry about, because I also know that when you use the micro USB cable or anything, it can only give you 720p, and I just don't want to stream in 720. So yeah, I believe that the new menu is way better. I believe that. Yeah, and the ZV-1 would die when you were like plugging it in for live streaming. So. Well, yeah, in the original ZV-1, God, sorry, I'm thinking ZV-1F. I was like, wait, the ZV-1 has the f1.8 and the ZV-1F has the 2.0, but the ZV-1 is 24 millimeters wide and the ZV-1F is 20 millimeters wide. But they both have the same, like, other stuff, right? They say that the color science is better in the ZV-1 too. I don't know, because I haven't tested that though. I always do the dummy battery. Yeah, and I like I said, the one that I really like was recommended to me from Diana Gladney. So if you're into that one, you can check it out in the description. It's the Raise Up one. And she recommended that one because it has like a consistent output of DC power, which is scary. Some of the other ones, if they deliver too much power, they can fry your little camera. And I was like, I'm not trying to do that. So I just took her word on it that one was the best one. And I was like, okay. And then I plug it, though, into not a 5-watt brick, but a 10-watt brick. So my poor dog is screaming his head off. I'm going to have to go check on him now. But Latrell, I hope you have an amazing time at CES. You have a great time at, with Sony and a great new year and all that stuff. Yeah. Yeah. So if you're looking for a good dummy battery, the one that I got recommended, that's the one that I put in the description. So yeah, check that out, but let me know how CES goes. Excited to see if you make some content on that. That'll be fun to watch. Don't tell them that I have all these, well, you can tell them I have opinions about Sony, but tell them that I love them and I still want them to send me things, so I can promise to make videos for Amazon at least. Be like, you should help that girl so she can make some videos on Amazon for you. And maybe a live stream like this where I talk about my favorite accessories. Right? I'm like, there you go. That would be cool to ever be sent anything from Sony or meet up with them. But yeah, have a good time and Happy New Year, everybody. And yeah, I'll see you all and talk to you all in the new year. All right? Everyone have a good one. Bye.